Oh my god, finally, this game's almost over. Okay, go fuck him up, Sett.
Let me at him! Let me at him!
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Chosen Ones. Each episode we spin the big wheel and have to build around whatever it lands on. And any eagle-eyed viewers might notice that there are now 2 nunus on the wheel. If you have any units that you want to see in future videos, make sure to let me know somehow and I'll add it to the wheel. This week, we got Sett. Sett is the big boss, and he doesn't just carry, he picks you up and he slams you onto the ground. He's big, he's flashy, and we can totally build around him. He's also just the coolest cat thing in the game. When he gets hurt, he will take a break, do some sit-ups, and then come running back stronger than before. So what's the catch? Well, he's a 5-cost unit, and a pretty popular one, so there's no guarantee we'll even see him in our shop the entire game. But we're going to try anyways. Now, the interesting thing about building around Sett is he really just has one trait we can build around, as we couldn't have a whole team of the boss. I was originally looking to go all into Brawlers this round, but I saw a chosen Hunter Aphelios and figured, Brawlers go with Hunters, this could work. And the great part was, I was able to hit 5 Hunters relatively quick. I wouldn't say this is a perfect board or anything though. Our front line only has 2 Brawler, and they're both 1-cost units, so they're not that beefy. I also had to move Warwick way back to get the most of his Zeke's Herald that I built when I thought we would be 8 Brawlers. But when they aren't getting blocked by Fiora and Jax, these Hunters can pump out a ton of damage. And hopefully that's enough to keep me around long enough to see a Sett, or hopefully multiple Setts. Well, it took a while, but we can finally snatch a subpar Sett off of the carousel. Our 5 Hunters have given us an early lead, but we aren't as strong as our position might imply. So I wasn't thinking too clearly, and I ended up giving Aphelios the Elderwood trait instead of Sett. I also held off on giving him a Zephyr, as I don't really see that as a carry item, and we do want to carry Sett. However, he is giving my frontline bonus spell damage, which it's not nothing. It may look like nothing. May feel like nothing, but it's not nothing. Not the grand premiere I was hoping for, honestly. Sett isn't even able to get all of his sit-ups in before he dies, which is pretty rude from the other team, not gonna lie. So after re-rolling all of our gold, we were able to find 0 Setts, and now he has the Zephyr, because there's not much else that we're gonna get. This was an intense final round for us. It starts with a pretty anime opener as Sett and the enemy carry both lock eyes and then float up 100 feet in the air. But then after coming down, he's able to get a decent slam in, and then our 2-star Ezreal is able to get his ult off. It's honestly pretty close. And for the first time since purchasing him, he's able to do all of the sit-ups he needs. Is it enough? No. We still built him poorly and he's a 1-star. But that's why we're trying this again. Doing these challenges, I've learned that the main way to build around a 5-cost unit is to forget that they exist, get to the late game, and then pick them up when you can find them. So that's why we have 3 Warlord and a Golden Wukong and Thresh. It's not really a Brawler's comp or anything close to it, but you know it's gonna win, and eventually we should be able to survive long enough to get Sett. So we got 11 wins in a row off the bat, soon to be 12. At some point in the future, though, our 6 big guys standing around does start to fall off. But ideally we'll have a Sett by then. Hopefully he can carry us. Well, no Sett quite yet, but we just hit level 8. We're keeping the Shojins and Warlord on the bench for when we get Sett. And Kennen is our Sett stand-in right now. Might really have to squint for that one. Well, we've rolled away most of our gold, and we've got nothing to show for it Sett-wise. We did get a Chosen Riven. We're going to give her all of Sett's items, just keep it warm for him. So after 50 rerolls or so, still no Sett. In hindsight, I probably should have just gone up to level 9 and had a higher chance of seeing him. However, the big advantage to playing the Dusk Vanguard variant of Sett carry is that Sett is pretty superfluous and completely optional. We actually end up with a 2nd place finish even without the boss. And because I didn't realize that I'd actually done ranked, this was a big win. So I tried again, just playing to win, and ended up with an 8 Divine 4 Duelist comp. But the big difference from last time is we actually managed to find Sett, and then eventually even 2-star him. We only get one round with him though, and boy is it a disappointment. He gets 2 ults off and they both fail to land. All you have to do is go up and come back down, and unfortunately we failed to do that. So for my last attempt, I've decided to uninhibit the Ribbit and unbench the Kench. We've got a Golden Tom Kench, and he is the full defensive package, with Thornmail, Dragon's Claw, and extra Brawler's health. I mean, just look at him as he frontlines for the entire fight. Not a single scratch on him. Now, you may be wondering, how does Tom tank so much damage? Well, the secret is, he's been in communication with the enemy carries before the match, presenting himself as but a puny wimp. However, when the fight begins, he catches them off guard with his massive size. It's unorthodox, yes, but catfishing is a maneuver that comes naturally to Tom, the giant catfish man. As the game goes on, we fall back into the similar Brawler-Hunter synergy from Game 1 with a little bit of Moonlight added in. I like to use Moonlight as it's the only trait with an Academy Award for Best Picture. We also have 3 Elderwood. No Oscars for Elderwood that I know of. Elijah Wood. He doesn't have any Oscars, but he was in Return of the King. That won Best Picture. And if they gave an award for most spears, it would of course go to Tom Kench. By the end of this round, I think he's more Swiss cheese than catfish. But with that flat damage reduction, he takes almost no damage from Callista, and she doesn't actually get the chance to execute. As the game winds down, I finally found Sett, unfortunately fighting for the enemy. My opponent has already 2-starred him. I know I was hoping for a more impactful Sett in my last game, but I didn't imagine it going like this. Well, it's the last round of the game if I lose. It's just me versus Big Sett. And luckily, I'm able to find a Sett. He's not quite as big, but he's going to have a cooler hat. And let's see if we can get the 2-star. No, we can't, even with Nico. Well, let the best man win, as they say. It's going to be a bit of a David versus Goliath for our Sett. Although, Sett isn't much of a David. More of a Goliath versus a bigger Goliath fight. Oh gosh, and I didn't even give him the hat. Well, we all know how this one ends. Can you carry with Sett? If you can find him, yes. I mean, just look at the results for our opponent. As with any 5-cost carry, I wouldn't try and force it, but when the opportunity arises, it can be a lot of fun. As always, if you enjoyed listening, please consider liking, and maybe even subscribing. I still have around 50 units to get through, and a lot of ideas to go with it. Alternatively, you can fight me IRL. In real life, I'm like a more buff version of Sett, so good luck.